Welcome back to our spring training special here on Houston Sports Show. We're at 15 Ballpark of the Palm Beaches in West Palm Beach. And joining me now, three of baseball's finest writers who cover the Astros. More information than anyone else anywhere knows about the Astros with these three guys, starting with Chandler Rome, who writes for the Houston Chronicle, Brian McTaggert with MLB.com, and Jake Kaplan is with The Athletic. We'll jump right into it, guys. It's midway or so of spring training. It's been really, really boring. The only exciting thing, I guess, has been a sore back or a sore thigh or whatever, but nothing spectacular. How has camp been for you so far, Chandler?
I think boring is good if you're an Astros fan, because a lot of the questions coming into this were, is the core four healthy? Is George Springer, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Alex Bregman, are they healthy? We've seen a couple of scratches from Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve of late, but those seem to be minor injuries, and I think the biggest thing that's really jumped out to me is how healthy Carlos Correa looks. He's really getting through the ball in his swing. He's not restricted. You don't see him playing favors with the back. You see him really hitting the ball with authority to all parts of the field. You saw him, he had 113 mile an hour exit velocity double the other day. So that's something he couldn't do last year. And I think for the Astros to achieve what they want to achieve, he's got to be healthy.
Yeah, and Brian, on that health issue, you have Jose Altuve coming back from a knee and Correa coming back. They're just way past that and 100% going. Is that what you see?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Chandler was saying, Correa's crushing the ball. I mean, he looks really good. Not only that, he's diving all over, making some really good defensive plays. So I think there's no issues with him whatsoever. Altuve looks like, he's definitely over the knee. I mean, we've only seen him play, a handful of games at second base so far. So he's got a long way to go to play deeper into games. But yeah, both those guys look like they're 100%. And, they're not. Are they going to stay 100%? I mean, they're going to come down with nicks and bruises as the season goes on. But if they can avoid the back for Correa and the knee for Altuve, I think they're poised for a pretty good year.
Where are you on this scale, Jake, of Correa being a superstar potential player versus what he looked like last year, and people saying maybe he's not as good as we thought he was going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key for him is to stay healthy the whole season. We haven't seen him do that except for 2016, which wasn't his best season. So I think if he stays healthy and doesn't have one of these absences like he's had the last 2 years, and then in last year's example, the injury clearly affected his performance, he can be that guy. I mean, it's just a matter of, can he do it for 6 months? And I think that's what we haven't really seen yet.
Mm-hmm. Is the team set as is, or is there a necessary move that needs to be made for them to get as far as they want to go?
I think certainly you should probably be talking about it in July more than right now. I think when you get a 3 or 4 months in, and then you kind of see in July, you saw last year they went and got Martin Maldonado at the deadline because clearly catching defense was a deficiency for them. They went and got Roberto Osuna at the deadline last year because they didn't trust Hector Rondon, and then Ken Giles kind of imploded as he was prone to do in his Astros tenure. So I think moves you're talking about probably more set at the trade deadline. As of right now, I think they could probably break camp right now with this team and feel pretty good about it.
About the difference in the starting rotation, I mean, it's significantly different than what it was a year ago. A year ago, you were able to have a Brad Peacock not even get there into the starting rotation. Now he's kind of key to it in a way. What are the differences in it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they lost 500 innings out of the rotation with Keuchel being gone, Charlie Morton going to the Rays, and the injury to McCullers. So that's a lot to make up. Like you said, they had Colin McHugh, who was in a relief role, has been a starter for 3 years before that. Plug him back in, and Peacock's a guy that can do a little of everything. And in 2017, he made 22 starts, which was terrific. So he's a guy that has a track record. He has the stuff, and he's back in the rotation. And they have a lot of good young candidates for that fifth spot. I mean, if down the road, if there's another opening, I mean, we all know about Whitley's going to be up at some point this year, and Bukowskis and Corbin Martin, even guys beyond that, the next wave of young pitchers coming up. So they love their young pitching, but they are going to have to, fill this with the fifth spot anyway with Peacock, maybe Framber Valdez, but I think Peacock's the front runner right now.
The pitching staff kind of saved the team last year when the hitting was coming and going and not as consistent. Is this staff capable of doing that, or I guess maybe will this staff have to? Because this offense should be really strong.
Yeah, I think their offense will be better this year, and their pitching staff will regress based on last year. I think fans probably have to reset their rotation expectations a little bit. It's not normal to have 5 guys who were at one time all-stars in the same rotation and not get hurt until August. So that's just not going to happen again. But with Brad Peacock there and Colin McHugh in the rotation and Wade Miley, they have some guys who can fill innings. They have the young guys coming up. And yeah, I think their bullpen might be better. And it was pretty good last year, but you get a full season of Ozuna and Presley, and they'll get Joe Smith back in June. You could argue they need one reliever now, and maybe that's a move they should make. I don't think they will, but their bullpen should be pretty good either way.
All right. How about prediction time? I know you guys are not crazy about predictions, but just in a general sense, everyone assumes the AL West is theirs, and they're in the chase for a World Series title. Obviously, we don't know how to play out with injuries, et cetera. Any doubts that this is a 100-win team that should be contending?
I think you saw Caesar's Palace or the Golden Nugget or somebody put out the over-under for wins, and it was 105. And that's a lot of wins to ask for a team. I don't know if this is a 105-win team, but this is certainly a team that could achieve that. You mentioned the AL West, with Seattle sort of tearing down, with Texas still torn down, and the A's, I don't know if you can count on the A's going on the sort of run they went on last year. The AL West would seem to be the Astros to lose, and then when you look at the entire American League, it's really three teams and then everyone else. It's the Yankees, it's the Red Sox, and it's the Astros.
Brian?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think they'll run away with the division. I mean, I think they will win 100 games just because the division is so poor. I mean, I think they'll win 50 games in the division, and they should win the division by 10 games. I mean, as far as the rest of the league, yeah, there's three elite teams, but we've saw the last couple of years when you get to the playoffs, you need to be healthy. Astros weren't healthy, and you need to have breaks. Look what happened with the Astros and the Red Sox last year in the ALCS. Benintendi catch, the bases loaded to end the game. That doesn't happen. That's different. The Jose Altuve home run that Joe West called fan interference changed the complex of that game. The Red Sox got all the breaks in that series. They outplayed the Astros too, but those three teams, I think, are just really close right now. It's going to be fun playoffs. I know that's way down the road, but I'd be surprised if those three teams aren't there at the end.
Do they need a fast start, or is this just the team that they're supposed to be good? So can't even call it a fast start. They should just be a good start.
Yeah, I mean, all 162 games are worth the same. I think. I don't know if they're a 100-win team, but if they're not, I think they're 98 or 99. Like, I don't think it's a huge drop from the 103 last year. Partially because their division got worse, and really the American League as a whole is not very good. You have a lot of teams rebuilding in the West and the Central, and then you have the Orioles in the East, and the Blue Jays. So, it's much weaker than the National League. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like these guys said, it really all comes down to who's hot going into the playoffs, who's healthy, who's performing, and that's kind of impossible to predict middle of March.
If you want to follow the Astros, follow these guys. They'll be on the show regularly during the season and keeping us updated. Thanks, guys, for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.